Hello. The topic that will be discussed in this podcast is personality differences in education. So first of all, what is personality? Personality is the combination of qualities or characteristics which form an individual's distinctive character. Here we have a picture which rather humorously describes the current education system in Ireland, where we force people with a wide range of personalities to take the same exam.
In 1944, a mother and daughter in America developed what is still seen today as the most reliable way to assess the personality of an individual. Their names were Isabel Briggs Myers and her mother Catherine Cook Briggs. They called this the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. It was used mainly so as to make Carl Jung's theory of psychological assessment easier to understand. In the assessment, an individual is asked 4 yes or no questions. Depending on their answers, they are given a letter. At the end of the 4 questions, they match their letters to whichever one of the personality types made up by Isabel Briggs Myers and her mother that contained their letters. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator allows for an increased level of understanding and communication, as you know how to deal with a person's personality. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator is used in developing teamwork, developing leaders, managing conflict, managing stress, and helping to deal with change. It can be successfully applied to secondary schools so as to help students that are struggling with the transition between primary and secondary. It would be easier for teachers to help the student if they knew what type of personality the student had.
7 styles of learning. Here's an infographic that sheds more light on this topic. It features the 7 learning styles: solitary, visual, social, oral, verbal, physical, and logical. Though it is not mentioned in the infographic, but this classification of the learning styles is based on Howard Gardner's multiple intelligence theory, in which he provided 7 types of intelligences which are exactly the same as the learning styles shown. Each style suits a certain personality. Us as teachers will encounter several different personalities in our classroom, so therefore we will need to cover many styles of teaching to accommodate these personalities. If you obtain the extroversion and introversion personality types from the Myers-Briggs test, then the oral learning style may suit you. Thinking out loud and describing things in a poetic way would appeal to you. People could describe you as talkative and outgoing. Techniques such as mnemonics and acrostics will be very effective in learning new information. As you will see in the next clip, Hannah Montana creates a song which effectively helps her to learn the bones of the body.
I take it home with a parietal bone. It might be crazy, but I learned that way. Temporal and frontal too, and now I'm finally through. That makes 206. I found a way that clicks. Everybody knows the bones, just had to find a way. Everybody knows what I'm talking about, that's how I'll get an A.
Stuart, I thought I told you.
Just give her a chance. Take it home with a parietal bone. It might be crazy, but we learned that way. Temporal and frontal too, and now we're finally through. That makes 206. I found a way that clicks.
That's it, Stuart. I'm going to get the principal.
What?
I want you to show him that dance. It's the best study technique I've ever seen. Oh, by the way, you got an A. Word!
Physical learners excel when they are learning through doing. They would classify as E, S and F in the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, as they are outwardly, they focus on how things really are, and they base their decisions on how they feel. The physical style of learning involves using your senses and interacting with the world around you. They learn best from doing things and associating their senses with their learning. Subjects such as woodwork is where these students stand out, because rather than sitting down and reading a book, they're up on their feet doing something and engaging with their learning.
Next we have our social learner. Their personality type will be extroversion and sensing on Myers-Briggs personality chart. This means that they will be described as outgoing and tends to work on ideas with others. Here you will see social learners learning the different types of triangles using a ball as reference. As the students take up their various positions, they are able to see the triangle being tracked by the ball as they throw it. They are able to visualize the triangle as a group. They can create the various triangles by arranging themselves in various spots. As these students are extroverts and social learners, they will be able to recall the encounter much easier than if they were to read or write about the triangles. It will also work better if the student can associate with the activity they are doing, as they will be able to relate their activity to the information. Other such ideas that can be utilised to help social learners learn are presentations, field trips, games, and letting them teach each other.
A solitary learner is more private than other types of learners. They like to be independent. They concentrate and zone in well to whatever topic they are studying. Solitary learners often keep a journal, diary or a personal log to record their personal thoughts or events. They like to spend time alone, making plans and setting goals. They prefer to work for themselves and know their own limits, often spending too much time on a problem or question. Those who have a strong solitary style tend to include authors, researchers and security guards. Solitary learners have a special way of thinking. They think differently. For example, "I'd like more time to think about that," or "I'll get back to you on that." In conclusion, solitary learners like to come up with their own outcomes.
To conclude, as teachers and educators, we must understand and realise that there are a wide range of personalities within our classroom. In order to successfully educate our students, we must not see this as an obstacle, but rather as an opportunity. Therefore, we must find the best strategy to facilitate the various personalities which we will encounter in the classroom. If a child cannot learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn.